why most of the traders fail. And I believe that the reason being that most traders fail because they do not understand what actually the meanings or what it's required to have a system.
Most traders know the patterns. Breakouts, gap fills, bounces off the 9 EMA. And yet, most still fail, not from a lack of knowledge. They fail because they're trading without context. Would you drive blindfolded on the freeway? That's what it's like trading without understanding market structure. Are we trending, consolidating, or reversing? Which setups fit today's environment? What levels truly matter and which are just noise? Market context answers all of that. That's why every morning I post a clear market context and game plan. It's the same blueprint I use before every trade. You'll know if we're in expansion or contraction mode, when to trust the open or fade it, whether a gap will run or reverse, where traders are trapped, and where price is likely to react. With context, you're not chasing, you're executing. If you want to trade with clarity and conviction, read the daily game plan by 9 a.m. EST on Substack. Join us live on Discord and YouTube. It's not about seeing more setups, it's about knowing which ones matter before the bell rings.
I'm a CPA as well as a trader. My goal is for you guys, those who are not consistently profitable, give them a platform, give them an understanding where they can learn with easy concepts and they can change their lives without blowing up their account. So I will help you, guide you, but ultimately you are the one you need to work on yourself. It's an absolutely an important topic, and we're going to chat about it, that why most of the traders fail. And I believe that the reason being that most traders fail because they do not understand what actually the meanings or what it's required to have a system, what is edge, what is setup. All these terms are interchangeably used in the market, and people think that what this is, I got something, and we just starting you guys just start trading and then you just fail. So we're going to talk about that in a much more detail, and it's really important for you guys to understand if you really wanted to be a consistently profitable trader. Amazing to see that how market is doing. If you look at our review and analysis, we were saying that it was extremely bullish, and if the large caps and all the stocks are not wanting to come back down, and market is over the highs, the market cannot survive in the range. And if his range is breaking out on the top side, then there is no other option. Short must be really feeling the pain to hold anything overnight. That's why this was the cover rally. They don't want to hold anything overnight on the Friday, Saturday, over the weekend. It could be extremely disaster for them if something good news comes in and then market again gap up. So in the situations, what really happened, since price was not able to break down further, short might have just hedging their position and then closing their shots. Let's start with the question that why the most traders, fail. And and I would just say that the reason, the way I see the trap, is that the most traders chase the setups without understanding the full system behind them. And what they really do, that they see the one YouTuber here, going opening drive. So they chase this opening drive. Then they see the other YouTuber or the trader, they see they're taking the double top. Then you copy, try to double top. Somebody's taking the dip buy, make the thousands of dollars buying the low, and you try to copy that. What you're trying to exactly doing, that is not a strategy. What you're really doing it is copying, or trying to deceiving yourself, considering that this is the setup, but without understanding what market context look like, what market scenario is, all other things, whether you have that edge or not. So what it really means, what I'm trying to say here, uh, in every day, they're always going to be an opening range on the upside, downside. They're always going to be the top. There's always going to be the bottom. There's always going to be the VWAP. But the question for you guys is that just learning to trade over opening drive, would that make you a consistently profitable trader? Or you are missing such as something a bigger, which is the other two elements, which is the edge and the system. So my question to you, that, what do you think, that what are the main reason why you get trapped again and again, again and again in the same situation, where you feel like the setup is your edge? And think about it, right? So when you copy, by the time you're thinking, I just wanted to reiterate that what will be the topic for today for those who are new joiners coming in. So my goal for you today, by the end of the session, you will know exactly how to understand the setup. And before you trigger any trade, you will try to build a system around that to give you a repeatable edge and protect you from the bad days. That is my goal today. At least I give you an extremely practical understanding that when you look at it, market Monday morning, you will look at it in an entirely different way what you're looking at so far. Because if it's so far you're looking at it, you mean you're consistently profitable trader and it's not. So it's mean that you need to have a different perspective to look at the market. And that perspective, I will give it to you today for you to learn and understand the setup is not your system and setup is not the strategy for you guys. Let's try to understand what these terms are really means for all of us. Because if you're going to understand what this really means, these terms, then we can unfold into a better way. Let's take an example. What is basically the the setup? I consider the setup is a specific market condition or a pattern signaling a potential trade. It could be a gap and go, it could be a go, it could be an opening drive, could be a breakout pattern, could be a topping, double top, double bottom, uh, bottoming tail, topping tail, VWAP reversal, 5 minute opening range, 15-minute opening range. It could be anything. Any setup which give you a market specific condition or a pattern signaling a potential trade. And here you go, right? The focus is on the potential trade. Is not actually the trade, is the potential trade. Now the question comes in that, okay, if it is a potential trade, you going to press the trigger and taking the trade or not going to trade, or you're going to pass the trade. That is called the edge. Edge comes in by understanding the market concept. Okay, you know what? Do you see the chart on my screen? So this is the ES as to the 5 minutes. You can see this is a 5 minute chart, right? This is a 5 minute chart. If you guys remember, we had long here on this setup. We took the trade, right? We took the trade. And I think the Khurshid and the other traders are with me. And the day they were thinking of going short here when this move here. And, it was just bouncing. And I was telling you, just wait for the right place where you can do the shorting, right? And then we shorted here. We took this trail and then we took the smaller, remember when I was sticking here, I would say the way it is moving, it may go back to the VWAP. But after that, I don't know what is going to happen. That is called the edge by reading the market understanding. So what I'm really trying to explain to you here that the market condition pattern signaling you about do the shorting, but whether you're going to short or not is going to give you, okay, what ES is doing, what NQ is doing, what other mega large caps are doing, the Tesla, NVDA, other semiconductors, Apple, or Microsoft, what others are doing, what is the UVXY or VIX is doing at the time, what is the underlying the weekly look like, what does the daily look like. These are the things which are going to help you to understand whether you have edge in that execution or not. It doesn't mean what I'm saying that you need to look all of them at the same time. You can't look at all of them at the same time, because if you're going to start looking at all the factors, likely there is you're going to lose the edge and you're going to be so confused and complicated process for you, right? That's why you have a system to protect you from that. What you really means that you need to identify your own edge, that okay, you know what, if I'm shorting it from the top when the market is really extended the way we see that right now on this chart, trying to show this here, what is the confirmation and area where you think that you have a better potential and the edge in the market to short? What is this, the first one or the second leg or this leg? The answer is going to go back your own way of doing the trading, but coming back to the factors you are incorporating into your decision making process. If you just looking at the setup, just looking at the setup without having a repeatable statistical analysis, okay, you know what? Based on me, yesterday after the first pullback, I felt I do not have any edge on the short, because I know from the statistical perspective, the way it was moving, the way it is holding after 11 a.m., the way the weekly look like, the way the daily chart look like, there is no way the market is going to come down. But I've seen we have the bookmap stream on throughout the day. I was checking the comments, and you can go back and see the live comments. Everyone on the stream looking for the short trades throughout the day. Why? Because they do not do any effort, they do not put any effort. You can see here we do not have that many people online at this point, and the reason being is that they just wanted to go and come and take the setup without doing an actual work and building an edge by understanding and analyzing those factors, putting the odds in your favor when you're executing those trades. Then the question is the what is system, right? We have a definition written here. Let me just go back to the presentation again and stop sharing. So what is a system? System is the combine, I would just say, is an engine which combines everything together. Okay, so for instance, you analyze, you had a setup, you analyze, you have the repeated edge, right? You wanted to short now. What is the system? Okay, if you enter the trade, if the trade did not work out, how would you react to that? When will be your second entry on it? What will your risk management rule says? What would be your position sizing? How would you analyze it if trade did not work? Rules you're gonna play if it's not gonna work out for you. Even if it's work, what are the behavioral rules for you? Are you gonna go jump back to the second trade? You remember on the same Friday, I'm just giving example so you can follow. When we have a very beautiful long trade, they all you guys are jumping, hey, short, short, right? It's extended. I said, no, I don't see any setup. I don't want to jump into the trade because I already green. That's my behavior rule. It's once you take the good trades, you make good money, you start feeling invincible. You say, you know what, I'm going to take one more trade to make another $500, another $60. That's called, it's mean that you are lacked with the system. So once you have the setup, which converted into your edge by analyzing it, by understanding it, by creating those factors and bringing the odds on your favor, and then when everything comes together, your setup, your risk management rules, your execution, your filtering criteria, your reaction after losing trade, reaction after winning trade, reaction after making a good amount of money. All these things, when you come together, that's you're gonna make you a consistently profitable trader, and that's where you're gonna start making the money. I wanted to keep this now forum open for you guys, and wanted to ask you that do you guys have any question? Do you understand these terms now? Do you How did you understand before coming to this presentation? Do you have any question? I want this more, in discussion form rather than the monologue. I want you guys to participate because the more you're going to participate, easier for you to learn. And when we're going to do the more deep dive and doing the practical examples, you were able to appreciate and learn those things and take this concept to you, and then you're going to make your own system wisely. But if you will not participate, likely you won't understand it. So I wanted to ask the questions, leave this forum to you guys, couple of minutes, let me know what do you think. You have any questions, or you want me to move forward? So this is an important one. So for you guys to understand that what we're trying to explain. Let's just break it down into a more logical way. So what setup look like? The setup look like that. When do you decide to take the valid trade, right? So let's take an example. On this day, on the August 7th, right? Assuming that you don't know what happened here, right? You don't know. So now take an example. This is a 5 minute candle, right? So this is the opening range of 5 minutes, and there's another 5 minutes of consolidation. And look at this. This is a breakout happened. Now the first question is that, and this, opening drive is every day, right? Opening drive is every day. But the question is that when you're gonna go the opening long trade, and when you gonna say that you're not gonna trade the opening range. If you're able to figure out what I'm trying to highlight to you, I bet you that you're gonna be a better trader. Just to simplify that, my question is that assume that this is a bull flag, and this is also another bull flag. So this one broke out. This one went up, and failed. Now the question is that they both were the bull flag before failing it, right? This failed, but this did not fail. When you gonna decide that today is the day when I'm going to trade the bull flag on the long side, and today I will not touch it, even it's a bull flag. It's the same pattern, but I'm not going to trade today, but I'm going to trade today, right? Which day you're going to decide. Similarly, here opening range was failed, right? On August 7th, the opening range completely failed. But if you look at the August 8th, the opening range have moved almost 15, 20, 30 points. So question again, I'm asking you, how would you decide that the when is going to work and when is not going to work? And this is my question to you. So you can't just say that you don't know, you don't have any question. You need to respond to that in order for us to move forward. So same setup, same conditions, just day before and day after. One day it worked, one day it did not work. And I think the answer lies back to the understanding which I every day I give you the market context and analysis, right? You need to build your analysis in order for you to understand whether. All right, so my question is that how would you decide that today is going to the day where you're going to take the opening drive on the long side, and today or other day you will going to pass? Because if you look at it, the example I'm sharing, both days there's an opening drive. One day, the day before, it failed, and other day it went, on the upside move. So you same setup worked one day, did not work another day. But if you really want to be a consistently profitable trader, you need to have an repeatable edge. Edge cannot be just a 50-50. The one day is going to work, one day is not going to work, right? If you're going to start doing that, that's maybe the reason that you are not consistently profitable trader. So how would you decide which day to trade and which day not to trade? What I'm trying to explain to you guys that what you really need to understand and think about it from the perspective of that opening drive is just the setup, right? And and the setup is like it's just like a recipe. You buy the to go boxes, they have the recipe on the YouTube video. You go any shop, you're gonna see the recipe there on the YouTube. They cook the food, they give you the recipe. But recipe is doesn't really mean that that how you can cook, right? How are you going to what will be the outcome of your food when you start cooking it. So similarly, the setup is the opening drive, the VWAP reversal, your bottoming tail, your top tail. But the question really going to come to the point that how would you decide when you start executing it that this is really makes sense for today? So now for you to decide whether you want to trade today in a way, there is a two things you need to do. Number one, you need to build an edge. Okay. What is edge? I'm explaining again. So edge is really means that you need to go and make sure you understand that on the higher time frame or the multiple time frame, what something look like. On the daily, what chart look like. On the weekly, what chart look like. What was the yesterday look like? What was the day before look like? Right? Yes, if you look at it here, let's take an example here. On this day, we went on the live stream short, right? Our stream, our people, our traders went short here. We did not attempt it the long and reverse the position. No, that was not the case for us. We directly went to the short. Why we went short? Why I was telling you guys that I'm not going to go long this day, but here I say that we all going to go long. Why? Reason is very simple. For me, how I created my edge is through the understanding of where are we in terms of the market structure, market context. In simple terms, I know this is the high, this is the swing low, swing high, swing low. I know this is a swing. You can say this is a lower high, right? Here we made is we didn't make the new low, but we can say this is a one low created, right? On this day when a big sell-off came in, and then we moved next day up, we broke the previous high, Now, where do we begin? We went exactly onto the topping tails of the previous, render here, here. What really showing me? What really shows to me that if I just break it down again, this is the high, this is the low. Right now, we climb back a lot without any significant pullback, and we are very close to the top side, the first day of sell-off. This is the first day of sell-off. We are on the top range of the first day of sell-off. When we are here, I was telling you, we are in the very tight range here and very close to the previous resistances on the first day of sell-off. I would not be looking because those sellers who have taken the profit, they have enough liquidity to take more shots here. It's just the understanding, the way I understand the market and reflect and build my edge that, okay, what daily look like, what gonna be weekly look like, what gonna be structure. So when market and ES reached here, I was really looking forward is that if I really wanted to go long, I want ES to reclaim the 64.25 level. If it cannot claim 64.25 level, I would still consider the ES is in the downtrend on this day. And therefore, any sign of a pullback, I was taking it, or as a green candle, I was taking it so conservatively, and I don't want it to trust the long side. But what happened? We sell off aggressively as we were expecting. It came back down, retested that, and then it hold it again in the very tight range. And I was telling you, if you go back, I say 63.80. If the ES is going to hold 63.80, we're going to see a big raise up. Why? Because 63.80 was the high of the August 6th as well. Right? It's also the bounce level of July 31st, or the July 30th. So in my mindset, if we can hold this level and move back up, no way market's going to push back down, and that would be more trustable. Why? Because the movement is going to hold. Those who have shorted here, they must start panicking, and they're going to start hedging their positions. So when they hedge, we go long. It's just a triple effect, and market just bounced very aggressively. What happened again? Market immediately stopped exactly at the previous high. And that's where I told you that we're gonna go short. Remember, this is where we shorted, and Kurshit was so surprised. Hey, how come Sean know that where we're gonna enter? And we shorted. We shorted exactly at this high. We made this trade profitable. Once this happened, again, what level in play? 63.80. It cannot break 63.80. It's above the opening range. You can clearly see here. This is the opening range here. It's above the opening range. In my mind, if that happens, it means that those who have reshorted it here, they're again going to get panic, and they're gonna close. And look at this squeeze happen. Just to explain it again, the setup is just a small pattern recognition gonna give it to you. Is it just like a recipe? It can get anyone, you can get it from YouTube, from the books. You can just copy from anyone. What is you're not gonna get it is the edge, which is you're gonna learn it. That what is a repeatable pattern by statistical analysis, building your own analysis in your mind. But again, even if you get that analysis as well, the third thing which you're going to stop you out, which you're going to take much more longer, these first two things are still easier because more logical. But the last thing, which is a system in itself, is really going to help you to bring everything together and be a consistently profitable trader. I bet you if you have setup, you have the edge. But if you don't have a system, you're not gonna pass. You're not gonna be consistent. And what is system? System require, assume. Take an example. So assume that you are trading this day, right? And you entered the first trade here. And what happened? It came down and you stop you out. And you know what? You happily stop out. You took the 5 points losses. You're gonna say, you know what? I'm fine with it. After a few minutes, market bouncing back again here. You say, you know what? I'm gonna trade again. What happened again? It dropped again. You stop out. So you stop one, stop two. Now it came back down, and then moving back up again. You say, you know what? I'm gonna go long again because it's breaking up. Look at this candle, right? You go long again here. What happened here? You go long again here. What happened? You stop out again, right? That's called the system. What the system calls you? System doesn't call you that you keep taking your stop losses. Systems tells you that, okay, once you stop out, do you have a mechanism in your system to analyze when you stop out, how would you react? How would you reanalyze? What will be the re-entry criteria for you guys? If you again stopped out second time, does your system has the capacity and capability you have built in the rules that do you know how you're going to react second time? Or are you going to go be the wild, person, and you start revenge trading and trading one after other? You basically reversing the trade. You just taking oversizing. That's basically those guardrails, those rules before the trade, during the trade, after the trade. If fails, what you're going to do? If it's be successful, what you're going to do? If it's a green date, what are you going to do? If you don't have those guardrails in place with you, you're likely going to blow up. You're going to make, maybe you're going to have one or two or three or five consistent green days, and sixth day, when you are not able to make the green day, you're going to fail miserably. Why? Because you don't have that system. You don't have the system. What you're really trying to do is trying to copy the setup from someone. You have seen those setup working a couple of times in the past. You build that edge. Okay, you know what? When open drive works, you know how stop works. So one time it didn't work, you stop out. Second time it didn't work, you stopped out. But third time, you just become, you become wild, and you start breaking all your behavior rules, all your reactional. Why? Because it's not part of your own system. You cannot buy that. That's why we can say that you can get the setups, you can learn from setups, you can learn from others, you can take the classes. Yeah, but in order to build your own system, it's really hard because it requires your own effort. In theory, while you're writing it, in theory, these things are easier to understand, but you need a mentor to guide you, because it's not easy to differentiate between those opening ranges, those VWAP reversals. Those signs are very subtle in the market, and if you do not have a mentor or guide, it will not able to explain to you, or you will not able to pick those conditions. Just imagine, and we know on the Twitter, based on the people reaction, how many people just trying to go long on this day, thinking about is that the move will come, and didn't come. It's just keep coming down every time, the people thinking. Now the same people, and this is not different, this are on our own stream on the book map, where I do not present article. It's just a raw stream where people just see the stream. uh, on this day, which is the Friday, whole day, they would, even at the 2 o'clock, every red candle they see, they say this is short, they're shorting. And I was just surprised. I was telling them, I don't see anything like that. Why you think that market is going to come suddenly now? Look at this consolidations happening. It's already noon. By the time the traders are already left, there is no tweet, there is no Trump tweet coming in. It can come, right? It can come. Could be a news related thing, but it's just be rare. You do not need to put your hard-earned money on those setups when there is no real edge. There is no, you don't have any confirmation. Market moves here doesn't mean that market going to come back down. Market went down yesterday, it doesn't mean that it cannot come back up. And trust me, I have lost a lot of money just thinking about the same thing what you're doing right now. And that's why I'm trying to help you. And you're always welcome to come and join our weekly, mentorship classes, where we could more deep dive in detail, explaining you, analysis. Come and join our in the morning analysis, where I explain to you guys how I see the market. That will be your game changer. It's going to help you to stay focused, whether you make money or you're not going to make money. But I bet you that definitely you're not going to lose money. So now, what I'm really explaining to you, if you look at this slide, which is just showing that the system is basically your rules, your guardrails, your behavioral management, which going to protect you from anything wrongdoing. Just like what happened. Sometime the in the electricity. or the electrical equipment, they have the auto shutdown mechanism, right? So if something is about to happen wrong, they get the clue and system will automatically shut down itself, so then it's protect the damages. Similar thing. So you have a setup now, you have a technical edge, right? But how many times happen that that you can trade really well, you can identify the opportunities really really well on few days, just one day where your edge is not working, and you just collapsed. You just collapsed. So tell me that how many time it happens that you do consistently profitable trading one day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth green day, and seventh day once you start failing it, and your edge is not working and you just collapsed. Why? Because that these behavioral rules and guardrails, you have not adopted it. You have not ingrained that concept in your mind. What In order for your edge to work, you need to understand that these guardrails are going to protect. How it's going to protect is as simple as it is. You take the trade number one and it fails, you do not need to jump to the next trade. That's it. It's as simple as it is. On this day when we are doing it on August 7th, the what you need to do, for instance, you take the first trade and you turn red. So assume you take the trade number one and you took the trade and it's failed. You take the trade number two and it fails again. What will you do in the third trade? If you know, and how would you know when you write it down with your pen that I'm going to do this when this happens, right? And if you know this, what you're gonna do, and if you do that, that's it. And you're gonna say, you know what, I do not have the control. I get just so emotional, blah blah blah. If you're getting so emotional into your third trade, is mean that you should not be taking your third trade, right? You should know yourself. You may be just taking the one trade, two trade. What I do every day, every morning when I come in, I will look for a good trades where I can implement my process and I make green, make money. I take the first trade. What happened if I turn red? I will take second trade. The moment I have turned into the second trade red, my objective now shifted. I'm no more now trying to make money today. Okay? I have already determined in my mind, decided that today is not going to be the day where I'm going to make money. Now on my third trade, what would be my role would be? My role would be to, if I find that third trade, either I wanted to reduce the first two losses, either come to break even or reduce it. Third, or if I turn this trade into the losing trade, I should not lose more than 50% what I've lost in my second trade. So if I lost 500 here, I've lost 500 here, I would not try to lose more than 250. That's where whatever the rules works for you, whether you say two trade stop out, reassess anything. I would just say even the first trade fail, you reassess. You do not need to jump back to the same setup. Is if you're trading opening drive failed, okay, take the step back. Okay, it's not working. Okay, why it's not working? Is there today, maybe if you're trying to go long, it's maybe the downside day, right? Or is something market telling me something else? Market doesn't want to go anywhere, right? You start taking the feedback from the market. If you're not going to take the feedback from the market, you're likely going to stuck, without having those rules and guardrails, which not going to help you in the long term. Try, when you look at your setups, you know don't bog down into your 5 minute 1 minute chart. Okay, if you are have a tendency to get too much into the first 1 minute 5 minute chart, after the market make the first move. So for instance, mark we have seen yesterday on August 8th, market has broke out opening range and market has moved continuously next 10-15 minutes and move all the way to 6400, right? So if in your mind comes in that market is too extended now and you want to short, by just looking at the 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes of run in the last 15 minutes, it's likely you mean that you do not have the right perspective of trading in the market. Market doesn't behave in the first 5, 10, 15 minutes. What people do, the institution do, once they see a certain behavior market have shown, they collect the feedback and they see, okay, does it going to be the pullback, or is the pullback is going to be viable pullback? Should we add? Should we short? They're not anticipating that they're going to just think, okay, this is a level and I'm just going to go short straight down, right? No, nobody does the straight thing then. They analyze it. They think about, okay, how price is reacting. They let the first move comes in the market. If market wants to sell off, there's always going to be a second move. If market wants to break out, there's always going to be a second move. You wait for the market to give you a clear breakout or clear feedback what markets really wanted to do, and that's where you can really take the feedback from the market rather than forcing what you have done in the first trade, and you just keep trying to do the same thing. And that's what people do. People have might have missed the opening trade, or they have not capitalized on the opening drive on the August 8th. What they now say, okay, what, I did not make the money on the long side. I now need to find a way I can short. Why don't you think about going long and join the trend? But that's not in their card, right? Because what they're doing is they're hopping from one trader to another, one YouTube video to another YouTube video. They're thinking, okay, that guy a few days ago made the double top and shorted it, and it went almost 200 points. So I'm going to do the double top and doing the short today as well. But what happened? You're just gonna lose. So you need to really understand how market functions. Market doesn't function into 5, 10, 15 minutes. You need to have the edge created with your system to give you either a multi higher time frame, the multi time frame, the volume confirmation, second leg, and those will, when it's come everything together, that's where you're gonna get the real edge, and your system will protect you with those rules, and you're gonna be consistently profitable trader. It's just that the pictorial representation on the slide, those who are become the part of our Discord community, I'm going to share the presentation material with you guys. If you are on the YouTube, join our Discord, and I can share the presentation with you guys. It's just the visual representation. What we already know, that setup is just a raw setup. It doesn't give you anything. Bull flag means nothing. Opening drive means nothing unless you know how to execute through the edge, unless you know that what your guardrails are. If it doesn't work, how would you protect yourself? If you don't have those two things together, you're likely not going to be succeed. So I would say that what would really help me, that once you take the trade and a trade failed, even I don't even want you to take the two trades. I want you to immediately go and, okay, the trade failed. Okay, why did it fail? Immediately start getting the feedback from the market. Okay, what is the noise, or is the structural shift, right? Should I retry? When would I retry? Right? Is a structural change. Things are, for instance, you're trying the opening drive, when, but the all candles are below the VWAP. So you start need to take the feedback from the market if you have not yet taken the feedback. So it's really important. And you only try the second attempt when you clearly see that the structural shift have happened. If the structural shift has not happened, you either just pass it. There might be a choppy day, you just ignore it. Okay, either might be you're thinking about going long, but it actually is not a long trade at all. It's going to be a short trade, right? So whatever it is, once you have the failed trade, market is trying to give you a signal or feedback. You know, listen to me. It could be the noise. Yes, it could be the noise as well. But as a trader, it is your role to identify the noise with the structural shift. These are just the criterias which you can implement in understanding it, that whether Just like on the August 7th, when the gap did not work, I have my own understanding how I interpreted. What was the gap? Is there was there any news because of the reason of the gap? Okay, what happened in the first 15 minutes? What happened in the first 30 minutes? What was happening the day before or 2 days ago or 3 days ago? What was the weekly trend look like at that time? What was the volume? Is everything moved in the Asia session or London session, or everything moved after 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock? How did it move? Does it have the consolidation and and breakouts, or is just the exponential big green candles without any right consolidation? Right? What was the gap level look like? Were there any gaps in the past few days as well? All these things will help you to frame it. And I know you would not know all the things at this point because you are learning, but that's why you need a guided mentor who can hold your hands and explain to you these things as truly, as honestly to you guys, so then you can understand it, right? If I just give you a long short, you might not able to be dependent ever. You need those help to identify, to learn those setups for you to proper execute them. So this one we have discussed a couple of times in this presentation today, but I'm just going to give you another frame, repeat of that. Identify, start collecting the feedback. If you're failing, you stop out. Why? Is a wrong entry, early entry, change of structure, change of noise, and if it's a change of structure, how would you classify? You have to have those definitions in your mind. Okay, how would you classify those? Were there any preconditions which you have missed it, which now are more visible, right? As market is pivoting, you were thinking about upside move, but market is just keep dropping it. Are you going to buy of each dip? You need to have the reason to buy those things. So all those things, the post failure will help you to collect the feedback, uh, prepare the next move, and then execute it. If you have missed the move, I don't want you to chase those moves. I want you to relax, collect the feedback, and look for the next trade. What kind of a system help you to integrate those rules together? Some of the advice I would give you: you should have your time-based filters. Okay, maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock. You should not have any trade after that, because you need some time to relax. Market is really start building some of the components into your system, because as a retail trader, you do not have energy and capacity to trade all day with the right focus, right? So you build the system that after every 10:30, you need time to relax, enjoy the time, and then come back later on in the afternoon. That's fine, but you need some time to cooling off. Loss control rules. You need to make sure that how would you control in the first risk? What is the risk for the second risk trade? And if you have two failure, three failure, how would you control that? That's, if you think that you are not yet ready to take those controls in your hand, make sure you have the system control in place to protect you from you. Because it's really important that there is a two people in the trading. There is at least a two people: one, a good trader, or who wants to be a trader, and other is an instinct animal who basically trades survival game, who cannot take failure as failure. They take as a failure as loss of life, or because it becomes a mode of survival. When you lose even the dollar, you need to have a system in place to protect you from you. This is a part you go back and look at it. Okay, you know what, from going forward, I look three type of setups: opening drive on the trend day, first VWAP reversal, or whatever it is. And you commit to those setups by proving the mathematical edge on it, by doing the statistical analysis. But then you build the rules, setup, engagement, and then commit to discipline. What happened is that because we have a lot of setup in our mind, we basically mentally get tired. We mentally get tired by taking those decisions, over analyzing it, taking decision, taking a half-heartedly trades. And what really happened is that by the time when the actual trades comes in, either we have lost so much, or we do not have that potential left to think through. And when we have that loss, we just get crazy. We start doing a revenge trade, oversizing. It's just because that we start executing too many. Because remember, Each decision you're going to make is going to take some energy from you. More decisions you're going to make, it's going to happen is that you're going to consume all of your energy, because trading is really hard. It's draining. It's take a lot of effort and energy. And trading you are doing alone at your home, no boss. You don't know how did you sleep last night, what happened at home. Maybe you got angry from your wife or husband or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, right? Or your sister or your brother. You have a financial constraint. There are a lot of things going into your background, your diet, your sleeping pattern, your water intake. You are not equipped to take thousands of decisions in 5 6 hours. And remember, in trading, you don't get paid for ideas, you're paid for execution. If you're mentally getting weaker and not able to comprehend, you're making wrong decisions, it just really shows that you need some time to relax. A simple formula: identify setups, build a system around it, and commit to discipline. And if you guys need any help, Smart Readers Capital are always here to help you out. Come and join our community. Come and join our live morning stream, free of cost, no charges. The Smart Readers Capital have a lot of free material for you guys. Come and join. If you need to take an additional step, wanted to learn, want to move forward, wanted to grow faster, come and join our paid mentorship. You can come and join. We are starting, fabulous classes now. We are starting every Monday. I'm going to do the onboarding classes for the new traders. Tuesday, we're going to do a beginner strategy classes. On Wednesdays, we have advanced classes for the market context for the advanced users. You can come and join all the classes. It's all live. There is no pre-recorded. Always, it's always you can get the recording of the previous videos, but this is going to be all live delivered for you, and you can learn and improve every day. We have a 7-day trial as well. So to get the 7-day trial, you can see on the top right side, I've given the barcode. You can scan and join the 7-day trial. If you go to the smarttraders.com, you just go here and you go to the daily report card, and you go here on the trade log, click here, and then click on the access. Then you're gonna see this window. What we are doing is that we are logging each of our trade every day, all the trade which I'm calling out, just from July 30th, right? Again, I'm giving a disclosure. Past performance doesn't mean the future performance. It's just for your education and understanding. These are July 30th to the August 8th, all of our trade, which we call in the chat room, long, short, losing, break even, profitable, all the trades. And if you we use the pivot table to combine long and short. If you see, only on the short side, we have win $9,100 in last 8 days, and on the long trade, we win 6,290. And this is just with one ES and one NQ. So you can see here we have total that many point we have win on the short side. On the ES, that many point we win. So shorts are represented in the negative if we win. If positive means we are losing it. We won 392 points in just last 9 days, and 192 points total we won into the uh, onto the long side. And if you multiply ES with the $50 and NQ with the $20, it's become total grand total is 6,290 here. And I would just say it's just remarkable. And it's just not to brag about the profitability. It's more about you go and look at those and watch the stream again and learn. Okay, Sean called out the short here. Go back to the stream and say, why did it short? Try to learn those structures. And I always explain when I trade. So you guys are welcome to trade. I'm gonna share the link again on this stream as well. You can learn from this, and we're going to continue before we do not use to log. Our results are still the same, but it's just that we start logging it because so many people come and ask us, okay, what is your winning percentage? What's your winning? I say, you go back and look at our stream. But they say, oh, we don't have time to look at the stream. And I say, okay, you know what, I will do one more thing for you guys. And this is just a one contract. In all these trades, if you take it, let me just go back to the, and guys, this is exactly in my book as well. It's not expensive. You can go and get the book. All the rules we have written here. Not even the single trade we went and we looked for the home run. These are all the trades which I learned and explained to you guys, that we need to look at the base hits. For ES, we're looking for 10 to 12 points. For NQ, if we are taking 20-point risk, we're looking for 40. 1:2 ratio, and that's what we're doing it all the way. If you look at it here, our losses are, 3 points, 9 points winner, 20 points NQ winner, right? If you look at it here, we are not doing substantially home run trades here. It's just a basic trades, without putting too much effort. Just the basic trades. It's just that the sniper mentality, going in and going out with the right time, without guessing, rather looking for the proper structure. I think some these days here we get a lot of money. The given because the market moved a lot. I think this is wrong. We put it. This is the NQ trade. Uh, we put it as ES. So we corrected that. So because of the index number, you can see this NQ trade. So NQ is very easy to get 38 points. If you're gonna scan this, you're gonna see the option that all of these products are 7-day free trial, but you have to still use your credit card. But it's not going to charge you until 7 days, and you can always cancel it if you don't want to continue that. All right. Any other question related to presentation, or any way I can help you guys? Feel free to join our community. I will post this onto our Discord community, the PDF of this presentation, if you want to have it. If not, you can email to me as well. Come and join us. 7-day free trial. You can always come and join. So if you go see here, when you go scan, this link will open, and it's showing you that all membership include a 1 week free trial. And when you go say subscribe, click on subscribe, and it's going to put you there, and then you can add your information, and it's not going to charge you until the 7 days expire. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you on Monday on a live stream.